What is going on, guys? It is Chosen TCG here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a Madolche deck for the March 2013 ban list. So this deck, actually, before I talk about anything else, I really like this deck. It's actually really cheap. However, there's one card that's kind of made this deck not cheap. It's actually just Madolche Magileine. It's $14. So before you go out there and build it yourself, make sure you have at least, $40–50 to buy 3 copies of Magileine, because that's pretty much the core of the deck. Everything else is like 10 cents, 20 cents, if you guys see what I'm hovering over. But yeah, so as always, the full deck list will be in the description below, so make sure you go check it out. And yeah, so leave a comment below if you have any questions or concerns, or anything you want to talk about. Thumbs this video up if you like this video, and go to my channel, watch other videos. If you like my channel, go subscribe. Alright, so okay, Madolches. Like I said, it's actually a very cheap deck, but do have $40–50 prepared to buy 3 copies of Magileine, because it is, for some reason $15. And well, not for some reason, I know why it's $15. But let's kind of get on with the full deck. I'm gonna explain a lot of these cards, like Chateau and Ticket, and Magileine, of course. So we got 3 copies of Magileine. Basically, this little girl. Oh yeah, by the way, if you guys don't know about Madolches, all of these cards, they are pretty much they pretty much go to the deck instead of going to the graveyard, if they go to the graveyard. So if your opponent plays Dark Hole, these will go to the deck instead of the graveyard. So yeah, it's pretty much their main effects. Pretty much, Magileine is a Stratos, so when it's normal or flipped, you can add Madolche Monster from your deck to your hand. However, you can add itself, so if you have another in your deck, you can summon this guy and you can get another one into your hand. So it's pretty much infinite amount of pluses. If you get I guess one in your hand, you pretty much have one in your hand for the rest of the duel. It plays very much like gadgets, except I think it's a little bit better. And then we got the Madolche Cruffssant. Pretty much, this card is a little, I guess, beat stick, and also a level modify. It's kind of like a wind-up shark, because you can target one Madolche monster once per turn, increases level by 1, and increases attack by 300 attack. So that's really good. It's 1500 attack. And it's permanent, I think. Yes, it's permanent. So it does stack up if you do that. So we got the Madolche Mewfeuille. It's actually a marauding captain, because when it's normal summon, you can actually special summon another Madolche from your hand, which combos really well. However, it does have 500 attack only, so be careful. But you do combo it off with Messengelato here, because when this card is special summon, you can add 1 Spell Trap from your deck to your hand. It's Madolche Spell Trap, but it's only if you control a face-up what's called beast type monster, which is the Mewfeuille. That's pretty much the main combo, and most of the time you're going to be getting Chateau, which I'll get to. And then you got the the Baapple. I play one Baapple because it's pretty much a well, okay, so the effect is you can switch the so you could target 2 monsters on the field, so one of your card and one of your opponent's card, and then you could pretty much change the battle position of these face-up attack position monsters into a face-up defense position. And if you do that, so both players cannot change their battle positions until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it's 1800 defense, so you would just play this card and you could just switch 2 cards into the face-up defense position. I like this card. It's kind of like, I guess, attack, but not a lot of people I see play it. And then you got the Madolche Chouxvalier. I think this card, I was gonna run like 2, just because it has 1700 attack. It's pretty much a 2200 beater when you have Madolche Castle, Chateau, face up on the field. And then this card is pretty much kind of like a dupe frog. Your opponent can kind of like a Amber Mammoth. You can't really target another Madolche monster except this guy, but it doesn't have the lockdown, because even if you have 2 on the field, your opponent can still target Madolche Chouxvalier. And then you have the 2 Tragoedia, because you'll have a crap load of hand advantage almost all the time because of Chateau. So Chateau's effect is when it's activated, you can shuffle all monsters in the graveyard to the deck. Madolche monsters. It's actually really nice to recycle all your monsters. because most of the time you are going to be exceeding, and then that's the main reason how your cards are going to be sent to the graveyard. And if a monster in the all cards gain 500 attack, and if a monster in the graveyard would be returned to the deck by the effect of Madolche monster, you can add it to your hand. So if any of your Madolche monsters are sent to the graveyard, and then will have their effect activate and return to the deck, you can actually add it to your hand instead. So it says instead, meaning you can add it instead. You don't have to. You can leave it in the graveyard if you want to combo it with your Tiaramisu. So I'll get to this card later. It's a really, really good card. And then you got the Madolche Ticket, pretty much a one factory. This card pretty much. The main effect is it has two effects. So when a Madolche card is returned from inside a field or graveyard to your hand or main deck, so pretty much when a Madolche its effect is activated while you have Chateau or not, you get to add a Madolche monster from your deck to your hand, and any Madolche, you can add Magileine, you can add Chouxvalier, you can add Messengelato, you can add anything. It's almost as good as one factory, and I think you can only use it once per turn, so you can only use it once per turn. It'll also be way too good, right? Because you could just go Ultimate Offering, and then you can, you know what I mean, right, with Magileine. But then you got one Terraforming, because you do want to get the castle as soon as possible. I'm sorry, Chateau. Well, it's the same thing pretty much, because it's French for your castle. But two dualities, consistency, and then two well, what is it called? MST and Heavy Storm, along with the Dark Hole. No Reborn. Kind of self-explanatory with running No Reborn. One Rhoda to get your Chouxvalier and Messengelato. More consistency, of course, and then two Bottomless, two Mewfeuille, two Solemns, two, what is this called? Torrential Tribute, along with the one Ultimate Offering, which is it's just crazy in this deck, because this and Magileine is pretty much game. I don't see how it's possible to lose a game if you have Magileine and this and Chateau. Like it's just crazy. Like I think this card should be banned. If Madolche ever become a tier 1 deck, it's probably going to be because of this. And if they do, they're probably going to hit the list and make Ultimate Offering to 1. Then we got the Madolche Palooza. Pretty much you summon any number of Madolche from your hand, and then during the end phase you shuffle them back to the deck. Well, it's actually really good during mid to late game, just because in mid to late game you're gonna have a bunch of monsters in your hand due to Madolche Castle. When you play this card, you can pretty much spam the entire field full of like Magilines, and then you get infinite amount of pluses, like literally infinite amount of pluses with Magileine. And then instead of leaving them out of field during the end phase, you can actually go for XYZ summons, or so exceed into rank 4s, rank 3s, and do whatever you need. Pretty much this is I put it in there kind of just for fun. I don't know if competitive competitive players will promote this card, because it is kind of useless in a way, but I like it, so it's definitely good. So extra deck, I got two Madolche Queen Tiaramisu. Just the boss monster of this deck. It's made with two level 4 Madolche monsters, and when it's so once per turn you can detach one XYZ material monster, and then target two Madolche cards in your graveyard, and then shuffle those cards into the deck. So then it has to be, I guess, opponent's cards. So okay, so target two of your opponent cards your opponent controls and shuffle them back to the deck. So pretty much, like you might be thinking, well, what if I have no cards in the graveyard? And it's actually a bad card because none of my cards will ever go to the graveyard. Well, actually, because you'll at least return one monster or one card on the field to the graveyard, just because you're gonna be detaching an XYZ from this card. So go to the graveyard and it'll target up to two Madolche monsters in your two Madolche cards. I'm sorry, in the graveyard. And don't forget, when it means cards, you can use it with a Ticket and Chateau. But like worst case scenario, you have no Madolche cards in the graveyard, and you just return one. What's it called? card your opponent controls back to your deck. And it says return. It's pretty brutal because no Starlight Road, no nothing. It's pretty much Brionac. I don't even think it targets as well. Yeah, it doesn't target, so it's pretty brutal. It's really good. I guess you should max it out if you want, but it's definitely one of like the best cards in the game right now. It should be definitely way more expensive, but don't listen to me, Konami, if you're watching this video, because I like Madolches. Don't make them too high. I want to play the deck. All right, so all right, so wind up Zenmaines and just generic level 3 monsters, because you got level 3s with these little animals, and then your rank 4s because all your monsters are rank 4s, and then you can do a lot of combos with the ultimate offering, right? And then let's see, that's pretty much it. And then you could go, oh yeah, so you have exceeds, sorry, for what is this thing called? Your warriors. You could go for these because your Messengelato and your Chouxvalier are both level 4 warrior type monsters. So you could go for those as well, and then you could go for Shockmasters as well. Then of course Stardust Dragon for the Starlight Road. Pretty much very self-explanatory extra deck. You just need level 3 exceed monsters. Sorry, rank 3 exceed monsters and good rank 4 monsters, exceed monsters as well, along with 2 to 3 copies of Tiramisu. And then the extra cards to consider. I haven't really thought. Well, I thought a lot about this card. To be honest, Pudding Cess is a good card, but the fact that it's level 4, level 8, but the fact that it's level 4, it's not really like the best card in the world, just because of that. So its effect is, if you have no monsters in the graveyard, against 800 attack, and basically when you attack a monster, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy a card on your opponent's side of the field. I think it's after damage calculation. Yeah, so after damage calculation, I think whether or not this card lives, it's still destroyed, but because it's level 5, the only way to bring this out easily is to use Mewfeuille and then just get this guy special summoned. But even so, its effect is mediocre at best, I feel like, and I just don't really care too much for this card. And then there's also Mermaid. Yeah, so it's pretty much to get the spell or trap card from the graveyard to your hand. Pretty much, it's a flip effect, and you grab one spell or trap from the graveyard. But I don't really care too much for that either, even though it is 2000 defense. I mean, I could put it in, but I choose not to, just because I don't feel like it. Same thing with Butler Risk. It's kind of like the same thing. To get that, except it's to get a field card. It's I guess it's okay. But really, the Mewfeuille and the Messengelato, this combo comes out quite a lot. So yeah. Let's see. So then we got the Guardian Yados. You could play if you want. Really not the best card in the world. I mean, you know what I mean. Like, I mean, you don't really play any cards that directly relate to the graveyard, and most of the cards aren't going to be sent to the graveyard, except Tragoedia. But if you take out Tragoedia and you put this card in, it's still, it's a little iffy, because you do want Tiaramisu's effect to go off sometimes too. So, there's some conflict. And then extra Terraforming if you want to put it in to get that Chateau quickly. See, that's the thing. Like, I didn't want to put in these cards just so I can get the Chateau. I just want to get the Chateau to my hand as soon as possible, and this is the quickest way to do so, right? Of course, Monster Reborn for kind of no reason if you want to tech it in, although I don't recommend it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you shouldn't be watching this video. And you could put it in the Starlight Road, protect your Chateau, protect your Ultimate Offering. It's always a good card to do, to put in the deck, and then that's pretty much it. So I do recommend you guys to put, of course, 2 Torrential Tribute. I've seen like some people they forget to put it in, but it's actually pretty much like infinite amount of pluses for this deck, just because you don't care if your cards are destroyed, right? You don't care if you get Dark Hold. It'll benefit you pretty much because you have Chateau. But yeah, so that's pretty much for the deck itself, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to check a duel out with this video, I'll have a duel up with this deck, sooner or later on my channel. So just go to my channel and search out Madolche or something, and you'll find it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace.